This video will show an example of using switches to potentially enhance one-handed gameplay using a standard controller on the Xbox One. We will show how you can use a switch to walk forwards if accessing both sticks is difficult. We will be using a crosshair adapter as the console interface. First we will look at a right-hand setup and then we will look at the left-hand setup. We will be using the crosshair adapter to get this setup working on the Xbox One. We will be using a Donegan Pro for our switch interface. To assign the switch to walk forward, we will map it to up on the left stick. We are going to use the crosshair software to do this. You will need to download the software and plug the crosshair into your PC. Inside the software you can map the controller. Here we are mapping forward on the left stick to the up directional button. You can now save this profile. You can do this for PS3, PS4, Xbox One or 360 consoles and controllers. We will now set up the hardware. First ensure that the console is switched on and plug the official Xbox One controller into the USB slot on the side of the crosshair. Now plug the Donegan Pro into one of the USB slots at the bottom of the crosshair. You can now plug the switches into the Donegan. For walk forwards, plug this into the row that includes the up arrow key. Now plug the crosshair into the Xbox. To set up the walk forwards button, press the button on top of the Donegan until the LED light moves to the top. Here we will show how the walk forwards button will do the same as pushing up on the left analog stick, which will make you walk forwards in game. You can have the buttons positioned wherever you can press them. Here we will be using a buddy button for walk forwards and another for aim. We will be using these as foot switches. You will need to make sure that any extra buttons are programmed to the same row of buttons on the Donegan. Here we are using the right arrow key for left trigger. Left hand setup. To set this up for left-handed use, first go into the game menu and set the sticks and buttons to left-handed mode. In some games this may be called Southpaw or Lefty. We will now go into the ease of access settings to remap the face buttons to the D-pad. You can find these in the title screen in settings and then go to ease of access. Now go to button mapping. We will now remap the buttons for left-handed use. We will map up on the D-pad to Y, right to B, left to X and down to A. Now the D-pad will act as the face buttons. Because we are going to use the left stick to look around, we will remap the walk forward button to up on the right analog stick. We will map this to the up keyboard key. And because we are going to use the left trigger as shoot, we will remap the right trigger so that we can use one of the foot switches for aim. In this instance, we will remap the left trigger to the down keyboard key so that it works with the green row on the Donegan. You can have two Donegans working at once, which should allow you to have up to 10 switches. Here are some different switches that we might use, which can be positioned where you can press them.